So, let's talk about 12263 by Stephen King. I finished reading this like a month ago. Within the last month, I graduated and have been working 2 jobs, and just a lot's going on. So, preface, time travel, JFK assassination. Life can turn on a dime, or someone to the extraordinary as it does for Jake Epping, a high school English teacher in a Maine town. While grading essays by his GED students, Jake reads a gruesome, enthralling piece penned by janitor Harry Dunning 50 years ago. Harry somehow survived his father's sledgehammer slaughter of his entire family. Jake is blown away, but an even more bizarre secret comes to light when Jake's friend Al, owner of the local diner, enlists Jake to take over a mission that has become his obsession, to prevent the Kennedy assassination. How? By stepping through a portal in the diner's storeroom, and into the era of Ike and Elvis, big American cars, sock hops, and cigarette smoke. Finding himself in warm-hearted Jody, Texas, Jake begins a new life, but all turns in the road lead to a troubled loner named Lee Harvey Oswald. The course of history is about to be rewritten and become heart-stoppingly suspenseful. So, normally Stephen King, even his movies don't always interest me, and I'm not a big horror fan, so I've never, I picked up Rose Matter a couple times and never finished it, but I watched the series first and fell in love with it, so I wanted to read the book, and it took forever, because I haven't read a book this big since I was in middle school or high school, just because in college, when you're an English major, you read a whole bunch of books, and you don't have time for personal reading. Stephen King should not be allowed to write kind of flirting stuff, just because every time Jake would say something, I'd be like, I would slap you. I would slap you, and I'm not in the 60s and everything, so why isn't he getting slapped? But I super loved it. I think I read the last 200 pages in one sitting, and I definitely, so the book hangover was weird, because normally how a book hangover works is just you're sad and you're oh no, but it just felt incomplete. As much as the story was completely wrapped up and everything, it just felt incomplete. There was still more to be told about Jody, and there was more to be told about Jake and Sadie and everything. I kept finding myself kind of being well, there has to be more. I'm surprised I finished it, rather than being kind of melancholic. Melancholic, or does it just say melancholy? I don't know. But it was really good. I was texting my English major friends, and I was read this book, but don't read it if you're going to guilt yourself about not having time to read it. So it took me a while. I think it took me 2 or 3 months to finish. And it was definitely a nice return to fiction. It was a nice especially since I haven't read thicker books in a while. Sorry, my light is probably close to needing to be replaced. But it was a nice return to longer fiction books, because now I'm reading Midnight Sun, but Midnight Sun is kind of easy because I was so obsessed with Twilight, because I was 12 when it came out. That's easy to jump back into that world, but I haven't picked up a book that thick that's not a world that I haven't been in. Ever since middle school, because I started Twilight, I'd already started and was finishing Harry Potter in middle school and the Mortal Instruments series, so I started all those worlds and realms in middle school, and since then I haven't started such a lengthy piece that's new. Like, I'll reread the book, the Harry Potter book, or I'll work on a Mortal Instruments book, which I'm very far behind in that series. But I haven't like started fresh since middle school. So it was really nice, and it was a nice introduction into, as much as Little Fires Everywhere was kind of adult fiction, this was a little more kind of adult sci-fi, which isn't like, sci-fi also really isn't my thing. But it was like historical fiction, and it was just like a nice introduction to multiple facets of literature, which was cool. The thing that surprised me was that there was never a point where I was like, oh, wait, when did that happen? And like, I wasn't missing things basically. So like, usually it feels like in a book, I'll read something and then 2 pages later my ADD goes, wait, but when did that happen? And it was, I just read it. But that never happened really with this one, other than like, if I'd accidentally like read on the page on the right and I was actually reading the page on the left. Like, that was the only time that stuff like that happened. It was super good. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. I don't think I'd reread it just because it was a really long read, but I like already recommend it to like all my friends and stuff. It was like nice to see that Stephen King can do more than horror, because that's what he's renowned for, whether I'm interested in it or not. Like, that's what he's known for. And so to see that he did a really good job with sci-fi historical fiction is just really promising, I guess. I don't know. He's heralded as one of the best writers of this time, so it's nice to see that he had the ability to write different things. Yeah, I'm currently in the middle of 3 books because I have a problem. Mindhunter, Midnight Sun, and The Opposite of Loneliness. I've been bouncing between Midnight Sun and Mind Reader, just like whenever I'm bored and want to read. But The Opposite of Loneliness I'm going to start taking with me while I'm studying, and when I have downtime I'm going to read it. So yeah. All I can think to say about it. Everything's super behind. There's like 5 videos uploaded that aren't, like, they're still privated. It's a journey. It's a thing. Hopefully sometime this week or this weekend I'll be able to get the videos that I have uploaded ready and taken off private and everything, like premiered or set for a premiere and published. We'll see. Hopefully I have that time. Because I've been working 2 jobs. I was working for the main company that I've been working for, and this has nothing to do with it, but yeah. As well as doing grocery delivery. And while I technically am still doing grocery delivery, I haven't been picking up deliveries lately, because I am finishing out my last 2 weeks with the main company and starting up substituting. I've been sick like 3 times in the last month. Not like major like flu or strep, but just like sinus infection, or like my stomach will kill me because I'm just doing so much. But yeah, I need to go to bed because it's 11 o'clock and I'm supposed to get up at 5:30. Hopefully my hair will settle. It's been in a bun like since I washed it last week. I didn't want to go through and wash it tonight, so hopefully it'll settle and look wavy, so that it's easier to like adjust tomorrow. If not, I have detangler spray and I'll just cover it and show pregnant baby. Going 22 super good, super good. Um, it's kind of a time period that I'm not drawn towards often. I love reading World War II. I love reading 90s. I love I don't love, but I really like historical fiction that's like 1800s. And so as much as I know quite a bit about Kennedy, because like my parents were small children during that time, I don't know a whole lot about Cold War and stuff, so it was nice to like, there was an appeal even for those who have nothing to do with it. So that was really nice.